As many of you will have worked out, this isn't your typical Formula One YouTube channel. I intend to try and make people start seeing and understanding what's really going on. Now, in the sport of Formula One, there's a lot of contrivances that are going on. In 2021, they fixed the championship of the sport. That constitutes a fraud. Okay, the people that are responsible for that should be in prison for that because that constitutes crime. Many of you won't realise that. Many of you are conditioned to the notion, oh, it's fine, move along already, don't you worry little heads about that, because that's the extent of your understanding and your knowledge. But make no mistake, existing laws determine that what took place constitute fraud, which is a crime, punishable by imprisonment. So, that is what took place. I'm going to play you through a couple of things in this channel to demonstrate what's really going on in this world. Some of you will realise this already, many of you won't. My intention is to try and open people's minds to what's really going on in this world so we can all learn, because the more people that start seeing it and the more people that start understanding it, the less chance that these perpetrators have got of getting away with what they're doing to all of us. So let's have a look at these two clips.
Wars used to look like this. Now they all look a bit more like this. This is how wars are going to be.
You saw that? All different news outlets parroting the same narrative.
Be fought in the 21st century. It won't be with missiles or nukes, it'll be with information. And every single battle starts off the same exact way. First, it starts off with a catalyst. A virus breaks out, terrorist attack, shooting, natural disaster. Everybody's eyes are locked in. Doesn't matter what it is, it's just a spectacle that creates confusion and
the spectacle that creates confusion.
Fear. Then comes the narrative seeding. Before you can even form your own thought, the airwaves are flooded with the official story.
Oh, it was just the race director made a mistake under pressure. The official story.
Channel, every influencer, every politician is singing the same exact tune. After that, mass confusion, contradictory reports.
Martin Brundle wheeled out in front of the world to tell you, oh, Red Bull did nothing wrong. How do you unravel that? Max led more laps than everybody else. He absolutely deserved it. Yeah, no mention whatsoever about, oh, what's the unlapping procedure for, Martin?
False leads, overwhelming data. You can't tell up from down. While you're lost in the fog, they slide in policies that never go away. Patriot Act, lockdowns, surveillance. You trade your safety for freedom. Then the scary part is what happens on social media. You get what's called the botnet blitz, where it's armies of fake accounts, people with blue checks, all parroting the same exact tune. They swarm your feed, drown out dissent, and make it seem like everybody agrees. It's called manufactured consensus. Then they play the oldest trick in the book. Divide and conquer. They don't care what side you're on as long as you're fighting each other and not the people that are actually pulling the strings. And if you think the news is bad, just wait until you see who writes the textbooks. They can gaslight you now in real time, make half the country cheer for it. Imagine what they've baked into the textbooks. They make your children memorize. Entire generations that are built on propaganda. That's the
way it is.
Real war. It's not tanks, it's not bombs, it's not nukes, it's information. If you can control the narrative, you can control the people. Wake the fuck up.
Yeah, so wake up. You control the narrative, you control the people, you control people's perceptions. How did I start seeing this? I started seeing this because in the aftermath of Abu Dhabi 2021, everybody was saying the same thing, and not a single one of them was saying the relevant thing. I was thinking, what's going on here? How come none of these experts are able to identify the simplicity of this? What is going on? The simplicity being is you had to perform that extra lap of the safety car, which would have meant it had to be a safety car finish. That extra lap of the safety car is mandatory. It's there for a purpose. And they just go, oh, just get them out of the way of the race between first and second. Just by talking about the extra lap of the safety car would have been enough to demand that the result was overturned, yet not a single form of media would talk about it. They would focus on everything else. Oh, is the race director allowed to do this? Does he have overriding authority? Is he allowed to, with his 15.3, allowed to do what he wants? No, yet not a single one. Not a single person could identify that in the media. And not a single lawyer came forward to go, well, actually, the law is clearly this. Oh, no, because the law is a manipulation tool to be argued over to contrive outcomes depending on who that outcome is for. But that's for my other channel that will come soon. Next video. Andrew Tate, a divisive figure. Now, I realise that some of you involuntary celibate Max Verstappen super fanboys may well seek inspiration from this guy. Yeah, very divisive, and I have to say there are some of the things that he says I strongly disagree with. However, I think this is a useful piece of information. Let's have a listen to Andrew.
The primary objective of the media is not to inform you. Think about this if you're watching this at home. Think about this. Why do the people in charge of the world want you to know anything? Who are you? Get over yourself for a second. They don't give a if you live or die. You could die in a car crash right now. You think they give a about you? They don't want you to know anything. They want you to believe things. And they want you to believe the things that suit their agenda.
And how do they get you to believe things? They present you with the information by their presented experts using their media. Now, this is what they do for the important things that go on in this world. Them same people now own Formula One. The media that perpetrates this for the billionaires so that the billionaires' agenda gets presented to us. Well, that media, they know how it works. They own Formula One and they do it for the product that they now own, for their own growth benefit. They're just going to gaslight us in using exactly the same techniques that they use when they're conditioning us with the other globalist agenda.
They don't want to educate you ever. They want to propagandize you. It's kind of amazing how arrogant people are where they go, oh, well, I read this, I saw this, I'm informed. No one's trying to inform you, friend. You're not important enough. You don't get presidential briefings. Nobody gives a shit about you.
I am trying to inform you, friends. I am. I'm the only one that has actually informed you of the true implications of the safety car. I'm the only one that said it's to restore sporting fairness to all competitors. I get the wank rags in the comment section saying, oh, it doesn't say anything about sporting fairness. Yeah, it's because you don't understand sport, dickhead. Okay, you grow up wanking. Okay, that's what you do. You grow up wanking. You were the last picked up football. You were given a computer console and you live in your bedroom. That's all your life consists of. Those of us that have actually played sport all of our lives, okay, and know what sport's about, realise that sport, the fundamental principle is sporting fairness, okay, a level playing field for everybody. So you little wank rags that want to come to the comments section and say, oh, it's nothing to do with sporting fairness. You say that because you know fuck all, okay? Anyway.
You're another nobody cockroach in traffic. So no one wants to inform you about anything because you have no power or capability. Nobody cares about you. They want you to believe certain things so that you'll continue to waste your life energy. They want you to believe certain things so you'll continue paying government taxes even though they hate you. They want you to continue sitting at home miserable and depressed, believing your life is worth living long enough for you to build the roads and build the bridges and then end up jumping off of one of them. So it's kind of amazing that people who watch the mainstream news or interact with it at all are arrogant enough to believe that the BBC are building this whole big studio and hiring these professional presenters and getting these very nice cameras and putting together these video presentations because they really want to inform this nobody about how the world works. Like, get the over yourself. Though. Yeah, get over yourself, people. No one, they don't care about you knowing anything. If it was up to them, if they could click and make you believe what you need to believe, there would be no news. There'd be no news at all.
So, he talks about the BBC there. Let's explore this. Now, you can go onto YouTube and you can type in Ross Atkins, BBC Verify. The BBC verify the authenticity of information. And Ross Atkins examines the true state. Ross Atkins, verify. Ross Atkins, here's the art of explanation. This is Ross. Ross Atkins is the guy that the BBC put in front of you to inform you of authentic information with the art of explanation. This is Ros Atkins. You can believe Ros, can't you? The new explainer. This is the motherfucker they put in front of us to explain to us Abu Dhabi 2021. Let's have a look.
On Sunday, Max Verstappen won the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and with it, his first Formula One World Championship.
This was the ultimate dream, and now that we have achieved that, basically for me, everything what comes next is a bonus.
What comes next has been controversy. Minutes after the race,
the explainer's going to explain the controversy to us, aren't you, Ros? Because you're the man with the facts. You're the one that assesses the authenticity of information and is capable of explaining it to the people to educate us.
Williams driver George Russell pressed caps lock and tweeted,
"Press caps lock, yes. Let's press cap locks. Cheers for that, Ros, you cock.
This is unacceptable." Well, this is former F1 driver David Coulthard.
A sequence of events that none of us have seen before.
Oh, thanks for that, David. Why? And why do you have to make the event be a certain way? Why does it have to be certain procedures performed, David?
The story starts with the World Championship going into the final race, with Verstappen and the seven-time champion Hamilton tied on 369.5 points. It would all come down to the final race of the season in Abu Dhabi. And after qualifying, the scene was set.
The two contenders equal on points, side by side on the...
Oh, we introduce another expert, Maurice Hamilton, a motorsport writer. Oh, and he's able to tell us that the scene is set.
front row of the grid. You could not write a better plot than this.
Thanks for that. Thanks for telling us you couldn't write a better plot than this. That's informed us all of it all, hasn't it, Ros? A beautiful construct this is.
This story had only just begun. On the first lap, Hamilton took the lead. Then, as Verstappen tried to overtake,
Okay. Hamilton took the lead. Now we're like a minute, 57 seconds into a 4-minute, 47 long presentation about the controversy. Let's have a look at this.
Hamilton left the track, cut a corner and stayed in front, after which race director Michael Masi decided Hamilton could keep the lead. Former F1 team owner Eddie Jordan was unimpressed.
Is it race director that makes decisions like that? Did Hamilton cut a corner and keep the lead? What happened there? Was Hamilton forced off the track? Because had he not have left the track, Verstappen would have crashed into him. That's called crowding off the track. Hamilton was crowded off the track by Verstappen. Verstappen wasn't given a penalty. It's a non-issue, isn't it? But we'll bring in Eddie Jordan, another expert, another former Formula One team owner.
For me, Masi was wrong. He should have asked Lewis to give back the place.
Okay, is it the race director that does that? Okay, or is it the stewards? Does it go to the stewards if there's an infringement? Is it a stewarding decision? If there's an infringement in the race, is that the stewards, or is this just narrative that you're all being given? So, oh, it's the race director. The race director controls everything. The Wizard of Oz controls everything that goes on. Or no, is it the stewards, okay, that actually do the investigation of infringements and then work out if they're going to penalise something or not? Do you watch Formula One these days and go, oh, there's an infringement and the stewards have noted this, and then they'll determine what they're going to do? Is it the race director doing that, or is it the stewards? Oh, that would be the stewards. Tell us, Eddie. But for Eddie, it's the race director.
For me, Masi was wrong. He should have asked Lewis to give back the place because Lewis ran off the road and he took a fair advantage as a...
Oh, what about crowding off the track, Eddie? Do you not know that rule? Do you not know the idea of if somebody's driving their car at you and you have to take evasive action, then by leaving the track, you're not committing an infringement, Eddie? What about that, Eddie? How much are they paying you, Eddie?
result?
But Hamilton stayed put. The F1 Twitter account told us we're into the second half of our title decider and it's looking good for Lewis Hamilton.
The F1 Twitter account. Thanks for this, Ros. Ros has given us a factual explanation of what's going on, and we're going to the F1 Twitter account. Is this the art of explanation, is it, Ros?
And so it was. The race was 58 laps, and Hamilton's lead was over 10 seconds.
Oh, see that there? That had to count up to 58 laps, so you could all see that it was 58 laps.
Soon we heard from Red Bull's team principal, Christian Horner. He told Sky Sports, "We're going to need a miracle in these last 10 laps to turn it around. He needs some luck from the racing gods."
See, Ros had to tell us that Christian asked for luck from the racing gods. That's all part of the factual analysis of the story, is it, Ros? That's going to explain to us what rules were broken and why. Very helpful, this is Ros, the explainer.
And with 5 laps to go, that luck arrived for Max Verstappen. The Canadian driver Nicholas Latifi crashed. There was debris all over the track. The cars didn't stop, but they stopped racing, and they now followed the safety car.
Is that normal, is it, Ros? Is that what happens? Okay. Racing gets neutralised, Ros, when they have to deal with a safety incident. That's normal.
These laps counted, so if the safety car did 5 laps, Hamilton would be world champion.
On average, how many laps would this incident take, Ros? 5.5 laps on average, Ros, would be on average. Are you going to tell us, Ros, the explainer?
But with the final lap approaching, the race director ordered the safety car to come in and crucially decided that the lapped cars between Hamilton and Verstappen should stay there.
Is that allowed, Ros? Ros, the explainer, is that allowed? No, Ros, it hasn't been allowed since the beginning of the 2012 season. Why is that, Ros? Oh, well, Ros, the reason being, at the moment in time Nicholas Latifi crashed, you got Lando Norris, who at that stage was in 8th position, trying to challenge Pierre Gasly in, at that stage, 7th position. The leader, Hamilton, had made it past Lando Norris in that race. Because a safety car is being utilised to deal with a safety concern, the safety car picks up the lead car, Hamilton, and every car has to wait behind that lead car until the incident is cleared up, meaning Norris in 8th has to wait behind Hamilton. 7th place Pierre Gasly disappears off around the track and joins the back of the safety car snake. He has now gained a lap on Lando Norris. Okay, that has skewed the outcome for Lando Norris and every car that's behind Lando in that race. Hence, prior to the resumption of racing, they have to do this mandatory procedure, which is to release those lapped cars once the track is declared safe and afford those lapped cars at least one further lap of the safety car for them to try and make it around the track and catch the back of that safety car snake to produce a running order of cars that is now in the correct race order with all of the previously built up advantages wiped out between all competitors. Have you told us that, Ros? Have you told the watching world that? Or have you just told us this, Ros?
But with the final lap approaching, the race director ordered the safety car to come in and crucially decided that the lapped cars between Hamilton and Verstappen should stay there.
He said this on lap 56. Lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake. That is not an official message in the FIA regulations, is it, Ros? Why did he say that on lap 56? Bearing in mind, lap 56 was the crucial lap that they had to be released on, because then lap 57 would have been that mandatory lap afforded to them to unlap, and that is the only way that lap 58 could be a racing lap. But he told them on lap 56 that lapped cars would not be allowed to overtake. There was a reason, and the reason being the incident was still being cleared up. You can't release them until the track is declared safe. There were still marshals sweeping up the debris, sweeping up the fire extinguisher powder that had been used to put out the fire on the car. Hence, this procedure was taking more time due to the dynamics of the situation. It wasn't possible to do that. The earliest that the track was declared safe was on lap 57. Even if they released the lapped cars on lap 57, lap 58 would then have to be the mandatory safety car lap. That determined that this race would be a safety car finish, meaning that Lewis Hamilton would not only win the race, he'd become a record-breaking 8-time world champion. Can you not tell us that, Ros? Working for the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, informing us that there was a British driver who was going to set a record in this sport that would be the new record for the global sport. Why can't somebody from the BBC tell us that, Roz?
Verstappen would need to pass all of them and Hamilton in one lap.
That is not even a viable option. That's an illegal restart. You cannot restart the race with those lapped cars who are eligible to be released in situ. Roz Atkins, why are you presenting it to the world that that was a possibility?
At this point, the race director was told by Red Bull's Christian Horner, "We need one more lap." Shortly afterwards, there was a U-turn.
They reversed the decision, allowing...
The next one, Hugh Ferris, a BBC Sports presenter. You see, you've got to suck cock to work in the media, okay? You've got to be willing to get down on your knees and suck cock.
allowing Verstappen to be just half a second bunched up right behind Lewis Hamilton as the safety car left the track, which was with just one lap to go.
That wasn't...
Thanks for that, Hugh. They're all useful, these contributors to this, aren't they? They're all useful.
At this point, the race director was told by Red Bull's Christian Horner, "We need one more lap."
Oh, so that's one of the sporting competitors coercing a sports official to break the rules. But Martin Brundle will tell you, oh, Red Bull did nothing wrong. Red Bull did nothing wrong. Well, we need one racing lap. You know what the rules and regulations of the sport are for, Christian. You have signed up to the compliance with the rules and regulations of the sport. That's part of the International Sporting Code. By undertaking that commitment, you've breached that. Have you told us that, Roz?
Shortly afterwards, there was a U-turn.
They reversed the decision, allowing Verstappen to be just half a second bunched up right behind Lewis Hamilton as the safety car left the track, which was with just one lap to go.
They reversed the decision. So talk us through reversing of the decision. There were 8 lapped cars. All they did was the 5 that were in between Hamilton and Verstappen, they waved them through. They didn't give them the time to go around the track. They just put Verstappen on the back of Hamilton. They blocked off third place from being on the back of Verstappen. They left 2 lapped cars in between third and second. So third place Ferrari of Carlos Sainz, he couldn't directly challenge Max Verstappen because he wasn't just half a second behind Verstappen, was he? Could you tell us that, Hugh?
That wasn't all, though. While the lap cars between Hamilton and Verstappen were cleared, other lap cars were not, to the bemusement of F1 journalist Chris Medland.
The next cocksucker.
It should either have been that those cars were still in the way.
No, Chris, it shouldn't have been that those cars were still in the way. When was the last time you saw those cars still in the way? Oh, 2011. We're in 2021, Chris, and you're a F1 journalist, and you've proposed that they should have either still been in the way, which they shouldn't. So why are you even proposing that? Oh, you get a job on the TV if you suck the cock. You get a job on the TV if you suck the cock and spew the narrative. Well done, Chris. Well done you, Chris.
Or that all of the cars had to go past, and in that case, it would have meant the race probably finished on a safety car.
It had to be either they were all left there. No, all. They all had to go past. And in that case... Yeah, listen to again.
The amusement of F1 journalist Chris Medland.
It should either have been that those cars were still in the way.
Nope.
Or that all of the cars had to go past, and in that case...
And if all the cars went past, what's the purpose of that, Chris, our F1 journalist?
It would have meant the race probably finished on a safety.
Probably, Chris. You couldn't tell us that the earliest time that those could be released would be on lap 57 because we saw the evidence of the marshals still being on track at turn 14 as that snake of cars was passing them on lap 56. So the earliest point in time that the track could be declared safe was lap 57. If you release them 8 cars on lap 57, the safety car returns to the pits at the end of the following lap. That's the lap that you afford those released cars the opportunity to make it around the track. and joined up with the back of the safety car snake, restoring sporting fairness to all competitors, creating the mandatory restart condition. Can you tell everybody that, Chris, the F1 journalist? Can you tell us, Chris? No. Just get down on your knees and suck the cock, Chris.
And Lewis Hamilton would have been world champion.
That didn't happen, though. Instead, we had a one-lap shootout to the...
Oh, the shootout. Tell us, Roz, the expert of giving us the authentic information.
fury of Hamilton's Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff.
To the fury. No, okay. So look at all the different facets we're bringing. How does it make you feel, everybody? Is it about feelings? Is it, Roz?
He told the race director, "You need to reinstate the lap before. That's not right." To which Michael Masi replied, "Toto, it's called a motor race, okay?"
He said, she said. Okay, what are the facts of this, Roz? What are we referencing this against? Are we referencing this about the rules and regulations and the purpose of those rules and regulations? Or are you just telling us he said, she said, Roz? The art of explanation, Roz. How are you conditioning people's minds, Roz? How are you educating people, Roz? How are you informing people, Roz? You're the presented, authentic face of this, Roz.
Lewis Hamilton also said on race radio, "This has been manipulated." That's rejected.
So Lewis Hamilton has said this has been manipulated, and Roz says,
by the F1 authority, "This has been manipulated." That's rejected by the F1 authorities.
That's rejected. Thanks for that, Roz. Is there any validity? Shall we explore the validity of this has been manipulated? Oh no, that's just been rejected. Yeah, the people in charge reject that. Thanks, Roz. Thanks, Roz. What are the rules and regulations? What are they for? Were they carried out? Oh, did that skew the outcome? Yes. So therefore, is that outcome valid? Oh, no. No. Why can't you tell us about that, Roz?
And as the championship reached its finale, Verstappen passed Hamilton, fended off a counter-attack and won. The race was over. The story wasn't. Mercedes lodged 2 appeals to overturn the result. Both were rejected.
Do you want to talk us through them, Roz? So Mercedes appeal to the stewards to say Max Verstappen overtook Lewis Hamilton during that safety car period. That is an infringement. That gets a 5-second penalty. You apply that 5-second penalty to Max Verstappen, he finishes second in that race. Did you do that? No, you didn't. He might have actually finished third. I don't know how many seconds Carlos Sainz in third was behind. What did the stewards do to that? No, don't worry about that. They allowed Red Bull in there for Red Bull to say, "Oh, that's happened millions of times." No, it hasn't. That was that one. And the other one was saying Mercedes saying to the stewards, "You didn't carry out this mandatory procedure." And the stewards, rather than say, "Okay, what is the mandatory procedure? Was it carried out?" "Oh, no, it wasn't. You are correct, Mercedes. Therefore, the rules were broken on lap 57, where only 5 of 8 cars were instructed to do the unlapping. That is a breach of the rules and regulations. Therefore, lap 57 onwards is invalid. The result has to be declared by the running order at the end of lap 56. No, what the stewards did instead of that were they were to invite Red Bull in to ask Red Bull what Red Bull think, and they sent Red Bull away for 40 minutes to construct their argument, which the stewards then agreed with. Do you want to talk us through that, Roz?
Hamilton himself congratulated Verstappen, and we all tried to make sense of what had happened. David Coulthard offered this explanation.
Oh, you didn't want to tell us about that, though, did you, Roz? No. But tell us what David thinks.
And the sporting regulations are hugely complex as well. And
they're complex, says David.
The sequence of events of only allowing 5 cars to overtake Lewis before the safety car came in is not something that typically has happened before.
It doesn't typically happen. When is it? When would be one of the anomalies? You know, that's not. Oh, there aren't any.
So if David Coulthard says that, does that mean the race director was wrong? Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Let's validate Race director.
The FIA do have another rule which allows the race director to override that and make the decision he feels is correct.
No, David. No. You see, what you've done, you've presented David Coulthard as an expert to validate things for people. And David Coulthard just lied to you. That's not expertise. You see, what the race director has overriding authority of is the use of the safety car, 15.3, which means he can elect to deploy the safety car. That's what it means. Okay? If he feels the necessity to deploy the safety car, the race director has the overriding authority to deploy that safety car. If the race director is looking at the event and still feels it's unsafe, he has the overriding authority to keep that safety car on the track until he feels it is safe to resume the sport. However, having deployed that safety car prior to the resumption of any race, then what needs to take place is those mandatory regulations that apply to the safety car once you have deployed it. And those are: the safety car will remain on track at least until the leader is behind it and all of the other cars are lined up behind the leader. That applies when cars haven't been lapped in an event. What does that produce? Well, that produces a line of cars, first down to last in the correct race order, with all of the previously built up advantages between all competitors all wiped out. A snake of cars, no advantages between all. You've intervened in a race. You've wiped out the advantages between all competitors. You've neutralised it. When cars have been lapped, you have to carry out the unlapping procedure to achieve that same restart condition. It's nothing to do with, the race director can just choose to do what he wants with the safety car. No. But your expert there, David Coulthard, selected by the BBC, doesn't tell you that, does he?
Leads us to BBC Sports F1 correspondent Andrew Benson's conclusion.
Andrew Benson, he's another massive cocksucker.
That the sporting regulations do not cover this specific situation. That the sporting regulations.
Andrew Benson, the BBC Sports chief F1 writer, tells the world that the sporting regulations do not cover this specific situation when they absolutely do. That's gaslighting. That's media lying to you. Andrew Benson lying with a statement: the sporting regulations do not cover this specific situation when they absolutely do. How come I can explain it to you very clearly? How come I can explain to you that this is the purpose? Look at what is going on in this race when Latifi crashes. Look at the location of Lando Norris. Look at the location here of Pierre Gasly, who Norris is trying to catch. Now that the safety car is deployed to deal with this incident, look where Norris is held back behind Hamilton. Look where Gasly disappears off around the track. We have to carry out the unlapping procedure. We have to do this additional lap of the safety car to restore the correct race order, to nullify all of this previously built up advantages for all competitors. This is what this procedure is about. They ignored it. They've just wiped out 5 cars between first and second. They didn't take out the 2 cars that were between second and third. In doing so, they separated out just 2 competitors to race off for a race win, which you're not allowed to do in a multi-competitor event. And they did so, they broke the rules to engineer that, knowing that one of those cars was now hugely advantaged over the other car. That is sport manipulation, that is sport fixing. Before it happened, the commentators of that sport were lying that that was even possible. Everything that then you've heard ever since has validated it as well. The BBC can't talk straight about it. Look how many people that they've got to add to this presentation for you to believe what they're saying.
Do not cover this specific situation. Meanwhile, Hamilton's Mercedes team have lodged an intention to further appeal, and the new champion says of Lewis Hamilton, of course it helps if you have already 7 titles.
Because that really matters, doesn't it, Roz? Max's opinion. How does it make you feel? He said, she said. Are you factually analysing this, are you, Roz?
Comforts him a bit. Certainly there's plenty of comfort for Formula One as it navigates this controversy. This was high-octane drama which demanded the world's attention.
High-octane drama. World's attention. This is presented to us as the pinnacle of world motorsport.
In a way many sports can only dream of.
Yes, this captured the public attention in a way that many sports can only dream of. Ross Atkins, this guy is a proper cunt. A proper cunt. Is presented as a voice of authenticity. And that's what he did to the world. People need to start waking up to the fact that we're being lied to all the time. We're being lied to by the global mind conditioning machine, the world's media, presenting to us about the events that are taking place in this world to get us to believe them to be a certain way, when really all they're presenting is the agenda of the elites, the billionaires who want it to be a certain way because they have a controlling influence over everything that makes them more money. And they do not give a shit about any of us. They do not give a shit about breaking existing rules, existing laws, because they've got the lawyers, the judges in their pocket. We're supposed to abide by them. We're subject to them. We would get punished, but not them. Laws and manipulation depends what form of justice you can afford. Anyway, that'll be for a different channel, but I hope this has served to further wake some of you people up. Thank you for your time.